Let's talk here about the special case lines, I like to call them. So far, what I've talked about have all been slanted lines. Well, not all lines are slanted. We have some that are straight up and down. We have some that are straight across. That's the special cases I wanted to talk to you about, because we haven't come across those, any that I've given anyway, of those lines. So I want to do that now. Now, it turns out these special case of lines also have a different looking appearance as far as the equations. Let's talk about one of them. Let's talk about graphing one such thing. Just do x equals 5. All right, so we come across this line, and this looks a lot different, doesn't it, than anything we've graphed before, because why? There's not any y variable present. Well, let's talk about that. What happens in such a case? Well, one way you can think about this, starting out anyway, is if you think about a table of values, what that equation is telling me is that x is locked in to be 5. In other words, on a table, if I put values up here, different points, x has always got to be 5. No matter what the y value is, the x value is 5. That's what that's saying, right? X equals 5, always 5. All right, so no matter what, if I have the y value of 1, the x value is 5. If I have the y value of 2, the x value is 5. If I have the y value of -4, the y value is 5. Or -10, the x is 5. So this column in a table would always be, in that scenario, 5. All right, well, what that means is, when I go to graphing that, x is 5, y is 1, wouldn't that be here? And then x is 5, y is 2 would be here. And then x is 5, y is -4 would be here. And then -10, x is 5, y is -10 would be there. Those points are all lining up how? Straight up and down. Also known as, what is straight up and down known as? Vertical. Yeah, this is a vertical line. X equals a number, x equals 5 in this case, is the vertical line that goes through the x-axis at 5. Okay? Now, knowing that then, what do you think x equals -3 is going to look like? X equals -3. Well, it's the same thing, except x is equal a different number, so it's going to be the same thing except over here at -3, isn't it? It's going to be a vertical line that's going to go through -3. So it's on the negative side of the x-axis there, but it's still a vertical line. Anytime you have x equals a number, that, or can put it in that format, if that's your equation, or what you can get your equation to look like, x equals a number, in other words, there's not a y variable in there. Anytime you have that, x equals a number, the graph is always going to be a vertical line. X equals any number, that's going to be a vertical line. X equals 15 is a vertical line. X equals 100 is a vertical line. It's just different position where your vertical line is, depending upon that number. Okay? Now, the other thing, let me mention here too, while we've got it here, is talk about the slope. And let's do it specifically here, and then we'll generalize it over there. what is the slope? Well, of this line I've got 2 points, don't I? I've got 5, 1, and I've got 5, 2. So I can do my slope formula. M equals y2 minus y1. Use that formula. Since I've got 2 points, I've got more than 2, but since I've got those 2, let's use those. So what would that give me? Second y2 minus first y1. Second x5 minus the first x5. 2 minus 1 is 1. 5 minus 5 is 0. What about 1 divided by 0? What does that simplify to be? Is it 0? Somebody punch it on your calculator and see what you get. 1 divided by 0. Can't divide by 0. Yeah. Punch on your calculator, you get an error. But yeah, you can't divide by 0. It's undefined. Therefore, the slope of a vertical line is undefined. You can't have a slope defined there for a vertical line. It basically, as you get if you get more and more steep, the numbers get bigger and bigger. Well, this is it's basically infinity slope, okay? The slope is just straight up and down. It's uncalculable, okay? All right? So any vertical line has, guess what? Slope is. Any vertical line has undefined slope. So it's a vertical line, it has undefined slope. All right? So that's the first special case, the vertical lines. Well, let's talk about the other reverse of that. What if I wanted to graph y equals 4? Well, is that one vertical? No, because it's y equals a number. Well, think about your table there. What is that telling you? If I wrote a table of values for that one, what is that telling you? Y is locked in to be 4. So no matter what the x is 3, the y is 4. X is 1, the y is 4. X is negative 2, the y is 4. Negative 10 for x, the y is 4. That one locks in the y value. And so when you go to the graph of that, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 1, 4, negative 2, x, y is 4, and negative 10, the y is 4. We get the reverse of that, don't we? What line do we have there? Is that vertical? No. Horizontal. Horizon. Think of the horizon there? Parallel to the horizon, so to speak. It's a horizontal line, yes. Okay? So if I had y, say, equal negative 5, you would say horizontal line down at negative 5, right? You don't have to necessarily list a table or anything. Just know that y equals a number is a horizontal line. And in this case, it's going to be through down here at negative 5 in the y. Okay? Anytime you have y equals a number, that gives you y equals a number is a vertical line. Horizontal line. Did I say vertical? I meant to say horizontal. Okay? So if it's y equals a number, it's a horizontal line. Now, just like we did with the vertical, let's talk about the slope. The vertical we saw had an undefined slope. Is it the same for horizontal? Well, let's see. In this case, let's use these 2 points right there, 3, 4, and 1, 4. Calculate the slope off of those. All right, so the slope there, second y is 4 minus first y is 1, 4. Second x is 1 minus the first x is 3, 0 over negative 2. Is that undefined? Does that work on your calculator? 0 divided by negative 2? What does 0 divided by negative 2 there give you? 0. Yeah, we can have a 0 in a fraction on the top. You just can't have 0 as a fraction in a fraction on the bottom, denominator. So 0 on top is okay. 0 divided by negative 2 is 0. So guess what the slope of a horizontal line is? It's 0. Yeah.
So are they always going to be undefined? Like x equals a number and y equals a number? They're always going to be
Yes. Vertical lines, x equals a number, always have undefined slopes. Y equals a number, lines, they're always going to have 0 slopes. Slope is 0.
Wouldn't it have like infinite run and no rise?
Well, the run is 0, the rise is 0, the run is negative 2. So from point to point, if you think about it like that, from this point to this point, how far did I rise? I didn't rise any, but I ran 2. So that's right. Slope is 0. So the slope of a horizontal line is always 0. Zero. Undefined vertical lines are undefined slopes. Horizontal lines, though, they're 0 slopes. Okay. All right. So let's talk about this a little more here. What if it was x minus 7 equals 0? I wanted to graph that. Well, that is also one of these special case lines because notice here it doesn't have a y variable. However, it's not quite what we were just doing because what we were just doing was y equals a number, x equals a number. This is x minus 7 equals 0. How can I adjust that? Move the 7 to the other side, yeah. If I add 7 here, adjust my equation just a little bit, add 7 to both sides, I get x equals 7, and what do we know about an x equals 7 line? X is always 7, so it's a vertical line, isn't it? X equals a number is a vertical. So my line is going to be a vertical line through 7. Okay? What about this one? 2y minus 3. Or say 2y plus 3 equals 8. Just make it a little different. 2y plus 3 equals 8. Well, again, that's missing a variable. It's missing the x variable. So if I get the y by itself, what happens? Well, if I subtract 3, I've got 2y equals 5. Divide by 2, I've got y equals 5 halves. So what do I have here? We'll have y equals a number. And y equals a number is what type? Horizontal. Which in this case, it just happens to go through 2.5. So right here, goes through 2.5 horizontally. Okay. So those are the special case graphing lines I wanted to mention. All right, now let's go back to the finding of equations just a little bit for a second. Is that okay? All right. All right, so what if I wanted to go the other way, so to speak? What if I wanted to take the and find an equation, find the equation of the vertical line through the point 6, negative 4. Find the equation. All right. So we had to do some of that with the slanted lines. What about this one? I want the vertical line through the point 6, negative. Well, here's the thing. Not really much work here to do, because I know what a vertical line looks like equation-wise, and I know where I want it to go through. So let's think about it. If it's a vertical line, what does it look like? What type's the equation? It's x equals a number. Vertical line is x equals a number. It's got to be that form, doesn't it? Well, what did x better equal here? y6. Because that's the x-coordinate of the point I've got, right? X had better equal 6. There you go. That's it. It's a vertical line, so it's x equals a number. X equals 6, because that's what I've got my xy coordinate points right there. Okay, so what if I wanted the reverse of that, I guess you might say? What about the horizontal line through 6, negative 4? Well, it's a horizontal line now that I want. So what does a horizontal line look like? Horizontal lines are y equals a number, right? And what had better the number be in this case? It'd be negative 4. Okay. Yeah, so those are easy. If you know what you're doing anyway, those are easy little problems. If you want a horizontal line through a certain point, it's just y equals a number, and you go with the y value of the point you're wanting through. Okay? All right? One more of those. All right. So what if I wanted to find the equation of the line? Through 5, 7 that has undefined slope. Undefined slope means what type of line? Vertical line. And vertical line is x equals a number lines. So this equation that I want is an x equal a number line, which, what is the x? 5. That's it, okay? So, again, a little simple problem if you know the story here, okay? Now, how would I get a horizontal line out of it? What would the phrasing be there? Find the equation line that has 0 slope. That would be, so the equation through 5, 7 with 0 slope well, that would be a horizontal line, a y equals line, so y equals 7. Okay? All right. Question or any concern?